Hello everybody, it's Max McAllister from Traxxion Dynamics here today to talk about and eliminate and dispel some myths as related to the tie rod and steering and stability of the 2018 Plus Honda Goldwing. And the primary misconception that I need to help erase and make go away forever is that the tie rods and the handlebars and that whole system there have anything to do with the stability of the front end of the motorcycle. So, traditional normal motorcycle with a telescopic fork. Your handlebars are connected, bolted solid to the triple trees. That's how you place inputs into the steering to make the bike initiate a turn. But left unattended, a motorcycle should go straight by itself. Inherently in the geometry is a feature that is design angles that make it so that the contact patch of the tire is traveling behind the imaginary steering axis of the motorcycle. So just like if you have the castering wheel on a shopping cart or any kind of a cart, no matter which way you pull it, the wheel always comes in line behind in the direction you're pulling on it. That effect is called trail. Your motorcycle has that designed into it. So if your motorcycle, the stability of your motorcycle is directly related to that design feature. Now, what makes a bike wobble, some of the things that we're going to talk about specifically here related to this new bike or an old bike, can really start in the steering head of the motorcycle. If the bearings aren't functioning properly, smooth and clean with no dings or burr or debris or notches in them, and they're not properly torqued, that can cause a bike to wobble and such. Now, that system is something everyone's familiar with, okay? This basic layout of a motorcycle. The new motorcycle, the 2018 Plus Goldwing, it's obviously completely different. It has this, is not a telescopic fork, and if you've seen up underneath them, it has a pair of control arms, and it's analogous to the front suspension on a car, except turned forward instead of sideways. So there's two control arms with a shock absorber up inside of them, and this tuning fork, we like to call the tuning fork, is kind of analogous to the spindle in the front of a car. So there are no the parts that control this. If you were to are the handlebars and tie rods. That's your linkage, your connection to the tuning fork on the motorcycle. So what I want you to understand is that everything there is a set of remote controls, and you could disconnect them and put the motorcycle on cruise control, and it should go straight in a line and be stable and not wobble. So instead of you having your hands on a handlebar pushing and pulling directly on the front end, you are doing that remotely through a tie rod. So here's a kind of a setup over here to show you. You can see. So although you can kind of see these on your motorcycle when you sit there, but so as you push and pull on the handlebars, the tie rods are pushing and pulling on your tuning fork. On the top of the tuning fork is a big Y-shaped yoke, and that's where the tie rods bolt. For the record, to be clear, one of these two tie rods is controlling the steering on your bike. It's this right-hand one. And the one on the left is only there for the absolute 1 in a billion shot that the right tie rod were to fail. The operator would still have some control over the motorcycle. So this tie rod, you could remove it from your motorcycle and drive it for 100,000 miles and never know that it was or wasn't there. Except in the event of a safety disaster with the right tie rod. So having said that, what would make a 2018 Plus Goldwing have a wobbling problem? First and number one, although it's extremely rare on the new bike, particularly as compared to the old bike, number one cause is a defective front tire. So I've talked about this on a video. The only time we really hear of bikes shaking, it'll be about at 50 miles an hour and above, and the shake will kind of get worse as the rider accelerates. So that is one symptom, but number one is a front tire. The other thing, now that's analogous so that you understand that where the parts align on your motorcycle, this is the steering head of your traditional motorcycle with a telescopic fork that's on 57 million motorcycles. This one motorcycle here with the tuning fork, there's two giant bearings here that are where that you are analogous to your steering head bearings. Those bearings need to be properly fitted and torqued in order for this motorcycle to be stable as it goes down the road. If for some reason those bearings loosen up, then that would be a simple way for this motorcycle to then have a wobble. Now, we're not talking about the ridiculous, stupid deceleration wobble where old men ride an old Goldwing and let go of the handlebars and then go running into the dealership going, my bike has a death wobble and it's trying to kill me, even though it never killed anyone and never hurt anyone. This isn't that symptom. This bike won't do that. But so if you have a rare chance or instance where you have a Goldwing that's wobbling, this is the area to look on that big bulky aluminum casting there and the two big bearings there. Those bearings are of fine quality. They don't need to be upgraded, updated, or replaced from Honda, but they do need to be properly installed and properly torqued. We've only come across maybe two motorcycles ever. One of the very first motorcycle that ever came here, the bearings had not been properly seated. The bearing races had not been properly seated. The first pothole I hit with the bike that seated the bearings, and then that tuning fork was insanely loose, and we just manually tightened it, and that, we cured it because there were no tools and no specs and no anything at the time, so we just used our best experience to fix that. But it's extremely uncommon. So if you have any kind of a shake, wobble, or issue with the 2018 Plus Goldwing, it has nothing to do with the tie rods. No way, and it never will. Now, most people are familiar with our upgraded tie rod that we sell. What that tie rod's doing is taking out mechanical slop in the steering system between the tie rods and the yoke and all that. So all we're doing is we're cleaning up the connection in the remote controls from the handlebars down to the yoke to the tuning fork. We're tightening up that connection and making it extremely precision and precise. So, our tie rod has very snug, firm-fitting spherical bearings. The top stock tie rod is got nylon-lined ball sockets that have a lot of mechanical space in them. So you can actually have mechanical slop here. That is not going to cause your bike to wobble. So changing a tie rod, fixing a tie rod, replacing the tie rod, getting to a Honda for warranty, whatever it is, nothing to do with a Goldwing that shakes or wobbles. So that's what I want to get really clear in everybody's head. So if you see somebody on the internet saying, my bike's wobbling, I'm going to get a new tie rod, that's not going to fix it. Unrelated, disconnected, they've got nothing to do with that symptom and these parts. So that's our lesson for the day. Hopefully this helps you have a better understanding, and you'll help me by, while you're out on the internet seeing people talking about fixing their wobbles with a wobble with a tie rod, but that's not going to do it. So my name's Max. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep bringing you great content.